What questions do you guys have for me?
You suspect it was going to be Hawaii all along?
Yeah, we kind of knew that there was a group of opponents that we thought would be the ones, and Hawaii being one of them. So we did our scouting report last week and got some extra work on them, and just glad that it paid off and that they are our opponents. And so they had a tough game against Boise, but I think the score is not. Game was a lot closer than what the score showed. They'd moved the ball quite often, especially early in the game, and had turnover on downs, one at the 1 yard line, another one at 5 yard line. So, and that with a pick close to the red zone too. So, I think they feel confident with what they're doing on offense. They're scoring a lot of points. Nick Rolovich is an excellent coach, and I said before, I think they have a lot of experience on their staff, really good coaches, and their players are playing really motivated football right now, and playing really good team football. And so, looking at stats-wise, their offense is pretty explosive. You look at the things that they've done in the top 10 passing offense in the country, and they average close to 470. I think it's 300 and about 145 yards rushing and over 300 yards passing. So quarterbacks that can play, a lot of big physical line, and top four receivers have tons of catches. I mean, I think the running back is almost at 1,000 yards, and top four receivers, I think it goes 90, 80, 80, and 58 in receptions. That's a boatload of catches. They can do some things with the ball, and so it's going to be a tough matchup, but we're looking forward to it. And then on defense, they've done some really good things defensively, tackle well, they're physical up front, and so looking forward to a good game. And our goal is, our purpose of this bowl game is to go out there and only for one thing, and that's to play well in this game and to be at our best. And just thankful for the opportunities for us to have a little bit of fun and be out there longer than what we do normally. But we've got our goals set on trying to get a win.
What are your thoughts on playing a bowl game against an opponent on their home field?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're used to it, so I'm not really worried about it. I think we just got to focus on what we can control, and for us, getting some extra time to scout them out a little bit and then see them in a game, and then also being able to have some, we're really familiar with a lot of guys on that staff. Looking at the coaching staff, and you can see they've been in a lot of different places, and we know them really well. So, and I think we've had some familiar with them playing them last year, and they're a different team. They're more balanced, and they're playing really they're a really tough team, physical. So I think that'd be a cool matchup for our guys.
How different is this team that you're facing this year versus the one you played hosted here last year?
Oh, you can. It's a huge difference. Then they're gaining momentum. Obviously, they won their division in their conference, and so they're able to put a lot of points on the board, and that's something that we have to be ready for, And I think they're playing. I mean, they got to the championship game, and they went and played in Boise, and so it's always a tough matchup. But looking at the way they play football, I think really they execute really well on all three phases, and then they're a sound team. I think Rolovich has done an amazing job getting that team to play the way that they're playing. They have an opportunity to get 10 wins, and we have an opportunity to build off of our season from last year and continue our bowl win streak. So there's a lot to play for in this game, and I think it will be the only game on for the day. So a lot of eyes will be watching us and looking forward to performing and playing against a quality opponent like Hawaii.
What makes their passing offense so successful?
Well, I think you have to start with the quarterback, and their O-line's providing them more time to throw the ball. They're not getting sacked quite a bit, quite often. And if you're looking at when people bring pressure, they usually get the ball out quickly. And so we've seen a lot of teams like this. I think Utah State kind of really compares on how quickly they get the ball out. But regardless, we're going to have to find ways to make the quarterback uncomfortable, and that's the name of the game. And looking at the amount of catches that the receivers have, they can do a lot of things. They can catch the ball deep, and they can create from underneath routes too. So But I think you have to go to their offensive coordinator and to their offensive staff and the personnel that they have, and the guy that has the vision of the offense is Rolovich, and Rolo's a really good coach. I've known him for a long time, and he's passionate about the game, and he does a great job at getting those guys to understand their role and everyone playing off of each other and getting points on the board, and that's what we got to stop them from doing.
And also the true run and shoot that he's running, but he's running the variation of it. How unique is that to defend?
Yeah, I think he's. It shows in how he's able to use his personnel. You know, he used not just the same quarterback. They've used Cordero and they've used McDonald. So they've had guys that can come in there and buy into the system and they roll into it. I mean, they've lost with Ursula going out. They lost a good number of receptions, but you look at, I just named the top 4 receivers. They're not really missing a beat, you know, and I just think they're a dangerous opponent, and they've put up a lot of points on a lot of good teams, and they've made. You look at some of the things that the Boise game, for example, championship game in the Mountain West, they really just caused their own problems. They're the only ones that, I mean, the issues that they had were really stuff that they can control on their end. So we're expecting to get their best shot, and we need to find ways to get points off the board like Boise did to them.
Coach, what's the status of your quarterback situation in terms of health with Zach trying to get 100% healthy still, and Baylor and his foot, and Jaron as well?
Yeah, they're all going to practice today, and away we go. We have an opponent that we scouted, and now we'll see some of their best looks today and from our scout team, and prepare for them. Take the extra time and the extra practice that we have.
Recent trend in college football is that some players are sitting out bowl games, thinking about their futures. Do you have any of your players in that situation?
No, they all want to play football. I'm lucky to coach these guys. So, yeah, they're all going to make the trip and all going to get on the field. And those that can are able, that are without injury. But the way it looks right now, we're getting guys back, and they're going to compete, and the best will play.
I think Bracken was one of the only ones that didn't play at San Diego. Is his season ending, or is he? No,
he's going to play. Yeah, we were hoping he'd play in the San Diego State game, and I think he wanted to, but we had to save him from himself. You guys know Bracken; he'll go out there any way he can, and so yeah, he'll play in this Hawaii game. I mean, he wants to practice every day. It's just hard to keep that guy off the field.
Why do you feel confident in your offense coming off of a disappointing effort offensively against San Diego State?
Well, because a lot like I mentioned with Hawaii's their performance in the championship game against Boise, you have to look at some of the things that we did that we can control on our end, and some of the mistakes that we made. And the goal is going to be not to make the mistakes and get points on the board, and then stop them and put them in a position to make mistakes. And that's what you do every week. And so I think with extra practice and the preparation and with hard work, we'll be able to improve on that.
Can you detail kind of your ties to Hawaii, to the Oahu, just growing up there?
Well, I don't remember anything about Tonga, even though I was born there, right? But I do remember Hawaii, and I grew up in Laie and have tons of family out there, and so went to preschool and Laie Elementary, and so I grew up there, and I have family there, so we were always back and forth, even when we did move to Provo. And I have 2 hometowns. That's Provo, Utah, and Laie, Hawaii. So proud of that. And I mean, I think anybody that grew up in Hawaii, when you for me, it was BYU was number 1, and then always cheered for UH as well. So I mean, we just have a connection. I know there's a lot of tradition, and a lot of guys that have our family was always watching them, and anytime we could support Hawaii, we were doing that.
Does the BYU brand still carry a lot of weight in that area out in Hawaii still?
I think it does. Yeah, I mean that's there's a lot of Mormons out there, and a lot of people that love BYU, and then there's a lot of people that love Hawaii. So I anticipate there's going to be a lot of people at this game. There's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of people that want this win on both sides. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Just happy to be part of it.
What are your travel tips for those making the trip to Hawaii?
Travel tips?
Yeah, where do you go?
Leave the winter coat at home. We won't need that. So that's all I can say. but we're going to work. You know, I mean, we're going to have fun too, and we're going to be able to. There's people that are going to go experience Hawaii that have never done it, and I'm excited to show them, you know, the place that I grew up in and things like that, and the wonderful people in that area, and obviously the food, right? But I think it's important for our players to understand the culture and have that whole experience. But we're going to work and we're going to practice, and we're going to have one goal in mind, that's to win the game.
There's a pretty hot rivalry between Hawaii and BYU for years.
Mhm.
The same conference. You feel like it's cooled off at all, or you think there's still the same angst?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're just going to go play a game, right? And however anyone feels about it, it's up to them. But I just know that there's a lot of respect on both sides from our players to their players, and from our coaches to their coaches. It's the same way. We've known them for a long time, and I've never wanted to tell fans how to behave or how to act or how to feel. That's why they're fans. My job is to make the fans that are dressed in royal blue happy.
So will you practice 5 days this week? Is that kind of
Mhm.
the plan?
Maybe 6, yeah.
Even Saturday?
Maybe, if I feel like we need it. So there's only one definite thing: we won't be practicing on Sunday.
How do you balance this time of year? 'Cause you've talked in the past. There's 15 practices you guys get. You call it a miniature spring ball. How do you balance both preparation but also development of the younger players? Or do you do that?
No, yeah, it's involved, and we had a good start last week, right? And it'll continue again this week, and I think you just have to. It's a little bit harder than normal practice, and a little bit more focused on the younger guys developing as well. But with the situation we're in, we can use them in the game plan, and that's a lot better than turning around and, you know, practicing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then getting a game plan for Saturday. Now we have more time to see if young guys can be more involved in the game plan on offense, defense, and special teams.
Do you feel like a bowl win could potentially carry momentum? I mean, you had that last year in the Potato Bowl. Do you feel like there's that potential to have that momentum in the offseason?
Well, the momentum was created in the practices that we had. It wasn't really just the result of the game. The result of the game was fun and happy, and we were excited, and you know that was a cool way to send the seniors out. I think the bowl game is just another way for us to say goodbye to the seniors, but then the win just makes it easier to say goodbye, right? But if we don't take advantage of the practices, then there will be no progress. And for us right now, this where we saw progress from last week to now, and my goal is to use 5, possible 6 practices to improve and get better, and create momentum going into 2020. And that's one thing that we can do for sure. The result of the game just makes it easier to say goodbye.
Another guy that was banged up with the playing against San Diego State was Chris Wilcox. Is he available for the bowl game?
We'll see. I think he wants to play in that game, but my goal is to keep him ready for 2020. That's he's been out of football for a while, and it was nice he got a taste of it, but we know what he can do, right? And this isn't. So it'll be we'll see how it goes in the next couple of weeks, but we'll make that decision later. I just know that he's important to us.
Has there been, I assume there's been competition with the kickers. Has anything been resolved as far as that goes?
No, not yet. Yeah,
It's open competition.
yeah, we have to do it that way, and we'll see what happens. We created some competition last week, and we'll do it again this week, and that's in every position, but the kickers included.
How much time do you spend focusing on things like the psychological side of the game with the kids? Because the kickers seem to have gotten in their own heads maybe a little bit. How much time do you kind of look at that and try and help kids psychologically?
I'm just a bottom line type of guy. Just make the kick, make the catch, throw the ball, secure it, make the tackle, things like that. So I don't get into all the details of everything. I let the experts do that. And so we have a great sports psychology department here that helps us out. And we have a mental health part that helps us out with that too. So I'm not an expert at kicking, but I just know that when it goes through the uprights, then we're all happy, right? And I look at the holds and the snaps, and that's all part of it. Everyone looks at the kicker, and it's an easy one to just blame the kicker, but there's a lot that goes into the game. Just like, running back scoring a touchdown, and everyone's like, well, that was a great run. Well, if he got untouched, that was probably had a lot to do with the O-line and tight ends and receivers blocking on the field as well. So my job is to look at what actually fits and what we can fix, and what my expertise is, and then using the resources around me.
Last couple questions.
How often will you be traveling this week with in-home recruiting visits?
Not much. I mean, I think we've got most of our guys that we feel like we're locked in, and we'll have some home visits, and but we'll have some assistants that are out recruiting a little bit this week. But myself, I'll make one trip, but I shouldn't miss any practices.
With you said last week that you guys may hold off on announcing these guys, the signees in the early signing period until February. Is that set in stone, or is that?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Just I think the big party is in February, right? And really, it's kind of up to the recruit as well. So just kind of wait and see. The 2 signing days, we can kind of feel some things out and try it out. It just seems like February we have this huge party, and in December we don't. And I'm not promoting to have 2 parties, right? But I'm just saying, February's a good time. I mean, we can sign them and lock them up and let them have a good holiday break, and then announce it later. But right now, I think it'd be good for the missionaries to get recognized that are starting in January as well.
Last time you went to Aloha Stadium, I remember after the game, it was all about urgency and getting improvement from that 4-9 season. Where do you feel the program has grown since that game back in 2017?
No, I don't know. I think I'm looking at where we're at now and how we can grow today, right, and get better. And I think it's important to reflect on things later. But my job is to keep making sure that we improve on our last performance, and that's San Diego State, and make sure that we show way better than we did then, and try to find a way to win and stay focused on that, and then let other people look at the progress we've made. But I think as long as we're going to bowl games and we have an opportunity to play another game with the seniors and have more extra practice time, I think that we have to utilize that. And I know there's things that we need to improve on from last game, but there's things that we need to improve on for last week, and I can't wait to get going on it today.